The Alcatraz Escape, the real story behind Hollywood's greatest jailbreak. On June 11, 1962, at around 9:30 p.m., two of America's most ruthless criminals, Frank Morris and John Anglin, along with their friend Clarence Anglin, disappeared from the infamous Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary. But the mystery is that no trace of the men has ever been found. Their disappearance remains officially unsolved to this day. So here is the real story behind Hollywood's greatest jailbreak. Alcatraz Island is located in the middle of the San Francisco Bay. It was first used as a military fort in 1850 and later became a prison for the country's most dangerous criminals. Alcatraz had the reputation of being inescapable. Its cold currents and strong tides made it nearly impossible to swim across the bay. Its isolation and bleak conditions ensured prisoners would never want to leave. But on June 11, 1962, three inmates, Frank Morris, John Anglin, and Clarence Anglin, managed to do exactly that. Frank Morris was one of the most notorious criminals of his time. He had spent most of his adult life in prison, serving time for various crimes, including robbery, kidnapping, and escaping from other prisons. He was known as a master escape artist and had already escaped from jail twice before. And he recruited the Anglin brothers, both serving time for bank robbery, to help him in his plan to escape Alcatraz. The planning of the escape took almost 2 years. The prisoners worked meticulously, cutting down the bars of their cell windows and making plaster masks to help them sneak through the prison undetected. They planned to make their way off the island by swimming underwater, using a homemade watertight container filled with air to help them breathe. The escape would take place during a heavy rainstorm, which would help conceal the sound of their movements. When the storm hit, the prisoners put their plan into action. They used the noise of the rain to cover up the sound of their escape. The guards were fooled. The only person who noticed anything unusual was a guard named Edwin R. Cooper. He had been staring at the wall for over an hour, but when he reported it, nobody believed him. No one thought a massive jailbreak was happening right under their noses. Meanwhile, the prisoners made their way off the island. First, they swam from Alcatraz to a small island just 1,000 feet away. Then they made their way to Angel Island, where they changed into clothes they had stolen from some campers earlier. They then fled into the night, disappearing into the darkness. Despite a massive manhunt, the prisoners were never found. What happened to them? Did they really escape, or did they perish in the cold waters of the bay? The official investigation was unable to provide a definitive answer. This is what we know. The United States government launched a massive search operation combing through the San Francisco Bay and the surrounding areas. Coast Guard boats patrolled the waters day and night, searching for any sign of the escapees. But the brothers and Morris were nowhere to be found. The FBI also searched through the records of missing persons and unidentified bodies, but no matches were found. There were several theories about what happened to the three men. Some believed that they had indeed escaped and were living in South America under false identities. Others believed that they had drowned in the bay. But there was one piece of evidence that kept coming up: a life raft. The life raft was found on Baker Beach near the Golden Gate Bridge. It matched the description of the one used by the prisoners during their escape. This seemed to point towards the fact that they had successfully escaped. However, the life raft was never actually seen in the possession of the prisoners. It could have been planted there to throw off the authorities, or it could have been washed ashore after the escape. Years after the escape, a man named Ken Stricker claimed to have seen the life raft on Baker Beach the morning after the escape. According to Stricker, he had been out fishing when he saw the life raft on the beach. He said that it was empty and that he had even considered turning it over to the authorities. But because he was late for work, he left it there and went on his way. This would seem to indicate that the life raft had been used and that the men had indeed escaped. However, there were doubts cast on Stricker's story. Some people believed that he may have been involved in the escape and was trying to throw off the authorities. Another theory suggests that the prisoners never made it past the first island. It was believed that the current was too strong, and they probably got lost somewhere near the first island. Their bodies were never recovered, but it's possible that they are still out there somewhere. In the years since the escape, many people have come forward claiming to have seen the men or to have information about their whereabouts. However, none of these tips have led to the discovery of the brothers or Morris. As for the prison itself, it continued to operate until 1963, when it was shut down due to rising maintenance costs. In 1972, the prison was opened to the public as a National Park Service site. Today, visitors can explore the prison and learn about its history. There are audio tours available, and visitors can also explore the island. What happened to the Alcatraz escapees? The truth is, we may never know. The case remains officially unsolved to this day, but the mystery is what keeps drawing people to the story. Every year, tourists from all over the world visit Alcatraz to learn about the daring escape and to try and catch a glimpse of the island where it all went down. So what do you think happened to the Alcatraz escapees? Did they make it off the island, or did they perish in the bay? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more historical crime content. Thanks for watching. John Anglin, Frank Morris, and Clarence Anglin were 3 inmates at Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary who attempted a daring escape on June 11, 1962. All 3 men were accomplished criminals. Morris was a career criminal who had been in prison for most of his adult life. He was known for his ability to escape from custody and had already broken out of 2 other prisons prior to his arrival at Alcatraz. The Anglin brothers were also experienced criminals who had been convicted for bank robbery. The trio's escape plan was both audacious and meticulous. They spent nearly 2 years planning and preparing for their breakout, cutting down the bars of their cell windows and fashioning plaster masks to help them sneak past the guards. They also created a watertight container filled with air that they planned to use to breathe while swimming underwater from Alcatraz to a small island just 1,000 feet away. From there, they would make their way to Angel Island, where they had hidden clothes and supplies, and eventually disappear into the night. Their escape went undetected for hours. The storm outside made the sound of their escape almost impossible to hear. It wasn't until much later that a guard realized what had happened. By the time the authorities realized the prisoners were missing, they had already disappeared. A massive manhunt was launched, but the brothers and Morris were never found. There were several theories about what happened to them. Some believed they escaped and were living in South America under new identities. Others believed they drowned in the bay. However, the official investigation was unable to provide a definitive answer. One piece of evidence that came up during the search was a life raft that was found on Baker Beach near the Golden Gate Bridge. It matched the description of the one used by the prisoners during their escape. This seemed to suggest that they had escaped, but it could have also been planted there to mislead the authorities. In the years since the escape, many people have come forward with stories about what they believe happened to the men or to claim that they saw them after the escape. However, none of these tips have led to the discovery of the brothers or Morris. Today, the mystery of what happened to the Alcatraz escapees remains unsolved. The case has captured the public imagination and inspired countless books, TV shows, and movies. Visitors to Alcatraz can still explore the prison and learn about the daring escape and the subsequent manhunt. But the truth is, we may never know what really happened to those 3 men. Did they escape, or did they perish in the cold waters of the bay? The answer is lost to history. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching. Now check out another video on the screen. Now.